Hello everyone, welcome to tonight's episode of Morte. Tonight, finally, Sir Beaumains will face off against the Knight of the Red Lands. It's on. Hello everyone, hello Noel and Dee and Francis. And Games and Danny, come in guys. Hello Spillone, come in. We're finally there, ready to start the big battle. Well, epic smiting is the name of the game, Danny. That's what I'm here for this evening as well. Hello, Sarah. Hello, come in. This will be epic. This will probably last 2 days worth of smiting out of this battle. So we'll get rocking and rolling soon. Very excited for this. Really looking forward to it. Hello, Spillone. Hello. Come in, everyone. Come in. Take a seat. Hello, Arian. Hello, Jenny. Come in, guys. Hello, Kathy. How are you this evening? As you can all see, I'm rather excited to have finally reached this point in the tale. We've been a long time coming. Beaumains has had to fight his backside off to get some recognition. And we're here at last. At the foot of the siege, ready to face off against this knight who thinks can stand up against the Lancelot or a Gawain, but isn't sure what will happen against a Beaumains. So we'll see. There'll be hands waving in the air, there'll be smiting sounds, there'll be lots of enthusiasm, as there always is. Hello, come in Anthony and Luca. Come in. Hi Erica, take up a seat guys. Very excited to have you guys here for tonight's tale. We'll give another minute or so and then we'll get stuck in. Hi RJ, come in. Well Erica, every night on Periscope I read the tales of Sir Thomas Malory with Morte, the tales of the Arthurian knights. And tonight, as Noel has pointed out, we have the epic confrontation of Sir Beaumains facing off against the Knight of the Red Lands. We spent about a couple of weeks getting to this stage so far, so very excited to finally be here, ready for the crucial battle. It will be a big one. So you're in a good place to be, Erica. Hi, come in, Rubik's. Hello. I'm glad you like the t-shirt, Spillone. I got it when I saw them live. It was their first UK concert in I think about 20 years when I went to go and see them. And they did not disappoint. And speaking of not disappointing, I won't disappoint either as we get into tonight's tale. The police, Rubik's, don't tell me you don't know the police. We need to get you up in your 80s rock bands, clearly. Anyway, I will now get in and jump in with a quick recap of where we are in tonight's tale so that you can all get up to speed. So, this season began as a tall, built-up knight came to Camelot at the Feast of Pentecost. He came without any name, without any title, and he asked King Arthur for 3 favours. Arthur, feeling generous on the Feast of Pentecost, agreed to grant this man 3 favours, even though he had no name, no title, no nothing. The first favour that he asked for was to be fed for 12 months. Now, Arthur asked his steward Sir Kay to treat him like a lord in the castle of Camelot, to house him and feed him for those 12 months. But Sir Kay is hardly the most gentlemanly of knights, and decided that as the man had no name or title, he would treat him as a kitchen boy instead, even though other knights of the realm, including Lancelot and Gawain, thought more of him than that. However, 12 months passed of him being treated as a kitchen boy, and then, at the end of those 12 months, a damsel came into the court of Arthur to let him know that her sister was being laid siege to by the Knight of the Red Lands, and she asked Arthur and his knights for help. But the Knight of the Red Lands is a terrible foe, and neither Arthur nor any of his knights were eager to enter into battle against him. But this man who had come to the court of Arthur, this man who had been named Beaumains by Sir Kay, agreed to fight the Knight of the Red Lands. The damsel took great offence that a kitchen boy should be sent off to go and help her. She stormed out of the castle. The Beaumains asked Arthur to make him into a knight, and so, made into a knight, he followed after the damsel. But the damsel has refused to recognise him as a knight or a man of goodwill. It has taken 7 battles. 7 battles by Beaumains before the damsel has finally given in and seen him as being a true and virtuous soul. And now that damsel and Beaumains are there at the foot of the siege, ready to face off against the Knight of the Red Lands. The damsel's sister knows that Beaumains has come. The Red Knight knows as well and is eager to do battle against him. And we have discovered that Beaumains is in fact a knight of great lineage, for he is the son of King Lot and the brother to Sir Gawain. Ladies and gents, we begin tonight's tale with Sir Beaumains and that damsel who is named Lynette, as they get ready to rescue Lynette's sister, Léonce. We do need a flash and rumble of thunder. The best we can do is this. Let's get into tonight's episode, Noel. Sir, said the damsel Lynette unto Beaumains, look and be glad and light, for yonder is your deadly enemy, and at that window there is my lady, my sister, Dame Léonce. Where? Said Beaumains. Yonder, said the damsel, and pointed with her finger. That is truth, said Beaumains. She seems from afar to be the fairest lady that ever I looked upon. And truly, he said, I ask no better quarrel than now for to do in battle. For truly, she shall be my lady, and for her I will fight. And ever he looked up to the window with a glad face. And the Lady Léonce made courtesy to him down to the earth, while holding up both her hands. And it was with that the Red Knight of the Red Lands called to Sir Beaumains, Leave, Sir Knight, thy lucking, and behold me, I counsel thee, for I warn you well. She is my lady, and for her I have done many strong battles. If you have so done, said Beaumains, then it seems that it's but a waste of labour. For she doesn't love your fellowship, and if it's you that loveth not thee, is but great folly. For I understand that she is not glad of your coming, and I will be advised that I will do battle for her. But I understand by the besieging of this castle that she does forbear your fellowship, and therefore you will see this through, Red Knight of the Red Lands. For I love her and will rescue her, or else I shall die. Say you that? Said the Red Knight. Meseemeth you ought of reason to beware by yonder knights that you see hanging about yonder trees. Fie, for shame, said Beaumains, that ever you should say or do evil, for in that you shame yourself and knighthood. For you may be sure that there will no lady love you that knows your wicked ways. And now you see that the sight of those knights hanged by that tree should fear me. Nay, truly not. So that shameful sight causeth me to have courage and hardiness against thee more than I would have against ye if you really were a well-ruled knight. If you are not afraid of fallen knights hanging by that tree, then make yourself ready, said the Red Knight of the Red Lands, and talk no longer with me. Then Sir Beaumains bade the damsel to go from him, and they put their spears in their rests, and they came together with all their might that they had both, and either which one smote each other in the midst of their shields, and the peltries and the surcingles and the crupper's breast. And they fell to the earth both, and the reins of their bridles were in their hands, and so they lay a great while whilst sore stoned. And all that were in the castle and in the siege raised their necks to be broken. And then many a stranger and each other said that the strange knight was a big man and a noble jouster, for they had never seen a might match the Red Knight of the Red Lands. Thus they said both within the castle and in the siege without. And then, lightly, those two knights avoided their horses, put their shields before them, drew their swords, and ran together like two fierce lions, either one giving each other such buffets on the helms that they reeled backwards, both 2 strides. Then they recovered both, and hewed great pieces out of their harness and their shields, and after a long great part fell into the fields. It was then thus that they fought till it was past noon, and never would they stint till at the last they lacked wind both. Then they stood, wagging, scattering, panting and blowing and bleeding, that all that beheld them for the most part wept for a pity. And so, when they had rested themselves a while, then they went to battle again, tracing, racing, forcing as 2 boars. And at some time they took their run at it, and had been at 2 rams, they hurtled against each other, so that sometimes they fell grovelling to the earth, and at sometimes they were so amazed that either which one accidentally took up each other's sword instead of its own, and thus did they endure long, till evensong time, that there was none that beheld them that might know whether it was like to win the battle, and their armour was so forhewn that men might see their naked sides, and in other places they were wholly naked, but ever did those naked places they defend. And the Red Knight was a wily knight of war, and his wily fighting taught Sir Beaumains to be wise. But he abhorred it full sore, or he did espy his fighting, and thus by assent of them both they granted each other to rest, and so they set themselves down on 2 molehills there beside the fighting place, and either of them unlaced his helm and took the cold wind. For either of their pages was fast by them to come when they called, to unlace their harness and to set them on again at their commandment. And then, when Sir Beaumains' helm was off, he looked up to the window, and he saw the fair lady, Dame Leon's, and she made him such a face that his heart waxed light and jolly, and therewith he bade the Red Knight of the Red Lands to make himself ready, and let us do battle to the end. I will well, said the knight. And they laced up their helms, and their pages have left them, and they stepped together, and they fought freshly. But the Red Knight of the Red Lands waited him, and with an overthwart smote him upon the hand, that his sword fell from his grip. And yet he gave him another buffet upon the helm, that he fell grovelling to the earth, and the Red Knight fell over him to hold him down. Then cried the maiden Lynette on high, "O Sir Beaumains, where is your courage gone? Alas, my sister beholdeth thee, and she sobs and weeps, and makes my heart heavy." And when Sir Beaumains heard her say so, he upbraid up with a great might, and he got to his feet, and lightly he leapt to his sword, gripped it in his hand, and he doubled his pace under the Red Knight, and there they fought in a new battle together. But Sir Beaumains then doubled his strokes, and smote so thick that he smote the sword out of his hand, and then he smote him upon the helm, that he fell to the earth. And Sir Beaumains fell upon him, and unlaced his helm to have slain him, and then he yielded, and asked mercy, and said with a loud voice, O noble knight, I yield ye to thy mercy. Beaumains stood above the Knight of the Red Lands, and looked upon him as he asked for his life to be saved. He bethought him upon the night that had been hanged shamefully, and then he said, I may not with my worship save your life, for the shameful deaths that you have caused many full good knights to die. Sir, said the Red Knight of the Red Lands, hold your hand, and you shall know the causes why I put them to so shameful a death. Say on, said Sir Beaumains. Sir, I loved once a lady, a fair damsel, and she had her brother slain, and she said it was Sir Lancelot the Lake, or else Sir Gawain who did it, and she prayed me, if I loved her heartily, that I would make her a promise by the faith of my knighthood to labour daily in arms until I met with one of them, and all that I might overcome I should put them to a villainous death. And it's for this cause that I have put all these knights to death, and so I ensured her to do all the villainy unto King Arthur's knights, that I should take vengeance upon these. And sir, now I will thee tell me that every day my strength increaseth till noon, and all this time have I 7 men's strength. And there we end tonight's tale, ladies and gents, with the Red Knight of the Red Lands yielding himself unto Sir Beaumains, and revealing that he has not wanted this lady, this Dame Leon's, all along. This entire thing has been nothing but a front, an excuse, so he could lure Sir Lancelot or Sir Gawain out, and so fulfilled some knightly destiny of fighting against them in battle. But Beaumains has won the day, and we'll find out what Beaumains does to finish this tale off, or continue it, which perhaps is the better way, in tomorrow's tale. It was intense, wasn't it, Noel? I'm glad you guys liked that. Thank you, RJ and Kathy. That was probably, I think, one of the most intense battles we've done so far. I had a huge amount of fun reading that one. So I'm glad that you guys were swept up in the heat of that battle as well. It was a lot of fun to read out. Thank you, Dee. Thank you. Gosh, so much more fun reading that one I can wave my hands about than the first time I read these tales. More, Danny. We don't have time for more tonight. We'll keep this one, but we'll do some Edgar Allan Poe for Poetry Live in a bit. But actually, after doing, as much as I love doing voices of evil characters, I desperately need to get a drink afterwards. When I first started reading stories on Periscope, I was doing children's fairy tales, and after 4 days of doing wicked wolves and evil witches and stuff, my throat was absolutely knackered. So I do know I need to get myself downstairs and get my throat sorted so that we can go in and do some Poe, and I can go and do some more Knight of the Red Lands voices tomorrow, which will all be good fun. But thank you so much for coming to listen to that tale. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, this isn't the end of the tales for Sir Beaumains either. Sir Beaumains will go on, and his tale is kind of only just beginning. It's probably actually one of the more detailed, probably up there with Tristan and Isolde, when we do Tristan and Isolde, or Tristan and Iseult, or however we want to pronounce Isolde's name in different translations, and depending on whether you're from Cornwall or not. And that's actually the tale that comes after Beaumains. So massively excited to do this. We're into some really meaty sections of the tales of Le Morte d'Arthur. So hugely excited to share that with all of you guys. Hello, Rosella, by the way. Hello. We've just finished up our Arthurian tales for the night. I'm going to go and grab myself a drink, and then we'll reconvene in about 5 minutes' time and do Poetry Live and do some Edgar Allan Poe. Fun times! So see you all in a bit.